So Danny Cash, is that your real name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll go with it. Very cool name. Branded sauces. And you guys mostly like white label sauces, but you also have a storefront and you do sauces, condiments, drink mixes, seasons, anything else?
Salsas. Yeah. We get into kind of the whole the spicy realm.
Okay.
So we cover a lot of bases with everything that we make.
So everything that you make has some sort of pepper in it?
Yeah, it tries to.
Okay.
We make some weenie sauces.
Okay.
Where the pepper just kind of like walked past.
Okay. It was in the same room as a pepper.
It was there going into another sauce while we were making this one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Made in the same factory as a pepper. It's like a peanut allergy if you have a peanut allergy.
Yeah.
Is pepper allergy? Is that a thing?
No, I think that people who don't like the pain, they might blame that, but
Gotcha.
It's not actually a thing.
Cool. Can you just elaborate for the people then a little bit more about what you guys do and your business?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, whenever I tell somebody like, "Oh, I have a hot sauce company," they're like, "Oh, that's cute. What do you really do?" And I'm like, "No, seriously. I've been in business for over 20 years.
It's legit too."
We actually we make 50 different products of our own recipes, and then we can make other people's recipes if that's what they're really going for and stuff. I try to steer them away from that, but we have about 75 different recipes that we're actually like actively making right now.
Yeah.
And
I scrolled through them on your website. It was like scroll.
Yeah, definitely.
Next page, scroll. I was very impressed.
Yeah. And since we are actually private labeling for our customers, like Davy's Chuck Wagon Diner or Sunrise Sunset or Sunshine Cafe, a lot of these different places, they just want our sauces in low quantities with custom labels on it. Okay. Well, we realized that we can actually do that for ourselves too, because at that point, it just opens up the brand. Like the actual Danny Cash hot sauce brand is black backgrounds with different colored flames on the side. It's more of an edgy kind of feel to it and stuff. And it has like the graphic of like me with my mohawk up in the air with the earrings and stuff. It doesn't show any tattoos on the label, but
it might as well.
It should. Yeah, it totally should.
Yeah.
But it actually, the flames that are on the left side of the labels and stuff, those are actually the flames that are actually tattooed onto my arm.
Okay.
So same flames.
Which came first, the hot sauce or the flames?
The hot sauce came before the flames. The flames actually came after a motorcycle accident when I was already 5 or 6 years into hot sauce.
Okay. Is it a bad accident?
Well, I was sitting on my motorcycle when it burst into flames.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What caused that?
It was 103 degrees that day, and I had a faulty gas cap. So gas expands in the heat, and it expanded down the engine and onto the ground beneath me, and I wasn't paying attention. And when I hit the go button, it burst. It exploded.
Did you catch fire?
So it was this is the craziest thing. This was actually in a church parking lot, and I just got done praying with a big group of guys before we set out for Biker Sunday. And the only reason why I didn't start up my bike and go with the first big run of like 500 other bikes is because I was holding 2 hot dogs in my hands. And I'm like, I got to finish these and then go on this ride. And so I waited, and then the majority of the riders actually took off. And then I finished my conversation, finished my hot dogs, and then 20 minutes later, I hit the go button because it was the second wave of riders going out. And then that happened. And I'm told that it was a giant burst of flames, but it was all gasoline. It was just like, it wasn't an explosion of pieces of the bike or me, thank God.
Yeah.
It was more just a gasoline explosion like what you would have seen on Mythbusters.
Yeah.
So it was all like for the show. And then because it exploded, and then it traveled upward, there was a mushroom cloud above the actual church parking lot where I was at. And I literally like dumped the bike, scampered away. And then I had another 200 people praying around me. And when I could actually like get my bearings, I saw my bike still laying there, just burning down to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
So it was pretty crazy.
On fire or injured?
The flames came inside of my helmet. they burned off half of my little soul patch.
Okay.
That day. Okay. I didn't have a beard. It would have been mangled.
Yeah.
It would have been all like white and crispy.
Smell of
and
burnt
then,
hair isn't fun.
Oh, just terrible. And then it burned the hair off of my right thumb.
Okay.
But other than that,
I've
was
done that just
completely
opening the stove.
Oh yeah, totally. Or like the grill.
Yeah, the grill.
You ever try to light your grill with the lid closed? Bad idea.
Yeah, that's kind of how your bike went.
So I actually I gave that bike 6 months later to a guy on Craigslist that said he could fix it, and he did. He actually got it roadworthy again.
Wow.
And he let me ride it, which was super cool.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. So you got to ride it.
It was amazing. The guy
cool.
did.
Have you ever seen it out and about?
No, because he lives up in Empire.
Okay.
And when he came over to my house, when I said, "Come on down, check this bike out and stuff," and he's like, "Well, what do you want for it?" And I'm like, "I'm just going to give it to you."
Yeah. I don't even know. How do you put a price on that?
It was crazy. And he was like, "Hey, I noticed all the hot sauce in your kitchen. Have you ever tried the hot sauce that they have at the Empire Dairy King?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's my hot sauce." And they're like, "What?" Our family eats there like twice a week. So it was like total full circle and everything. He was getting Danny Cash's burnt to a crisp motorcycle after he had been enjoying my hot sauces for years and stuff up there when we did the labels for them. And then he came down to our factory and stuff, and we showed him around, and he rode the bike, and I got to ride it and stuff. So it was pretty crazy. So the actual flame tattoo comes from that story.
That's awesome.
So most of the tattoos came from after I started making hot sauce, because I started making hot sauce when I was 22.
Yeah. Tell me about how you fell in love with making hot sauces.
I don't know if I fell in love with the making process.
Okay.
That's a hard process. It's like, do you love getting kicked in the nuts?
Hasn't happened in a really long time.
Okay, good.
Last time I didn't.
Yeah. So, do you have small kids? Because I get kicked in the nuts regularly by them.
Yeah, that's true. That happens sometimes. It's usually like a knee drop or something. Like wrestling. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. So, but with hot sauce,
your love for hot sauce, where did it start?
So I really got into barbecue sauces when I was really young, like 10 and 12 and everything. And then I found that black pepper is delicious, but then there was this thing called red pepper that I had no idea existed. So I got into that. And then barbecue sauces were like kind of the next extension of, this is so much flavor. Why are we not using this on everything? Like, put it on cereal. It's so delicious. And then when I went to Nick's Cafe off of 6th and Sims, which is no longer, unfortunately, the guy had to retire at some point. I mean, he was a personal chef for Elvis at one time. Let the guy rest, finally. He actually had Melinda's hot sauce on his tables. And I knew nothing other than Tabasco at Denny's, and then the one bottle of hot sauce that my dad had in the fridge and everything. And it was like, my parents were not spicy people. I am very Caucasian. Very like from Northwest Chicago suburbs.
Okay.
We moved out here, and it was like, oh man, they got some spicier stuff out here. But we also moved out here in like 1990.
I grew up in Texas. So tell me about spices.
So there was nothing here. There was like no good food in Denver. Yeah. It was not the foodie scene.
The land of the bland.
Now. Yes, definitely land of bland. It was nothing like Texas. I had never been to Texas until we started selling hot sauce. It was crazy. I mean, food was tasteless until I discovered heat. And I grew a passion for it at that point. So age 11 and 12, I started getting spicier. Now that I'm talking about this, my mouth is watering.
My mouth is watering too. I was just thinking
like, whoa, I must be hungry.
All right, I might have to bust these out earlier than I thought.
Yeah, definitely. But then I really started getting into hot sauces. Okay. And when I had a rack of about 20 different hot sauces in my kitchen, which is pretty standard, I guess.
You said early 20s?
So it was when I was 21, 22 years old is really when I was spending a lot of money.
Started collecting hot sauces, and you look up and you got 20, 30, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and at that point it wasn't collecting. It's like, these are my open bottles that I am eating. And like, I wouldn't buy another one unless I threw a garbage one away or something. And it's like, some bottles were $2 and they were delicious. Other bottles were $12 and they were terrible.
Okay.
And this is 20 years ago. Yeah. So my girlfriend dumped me, and I moved out of my apartment with her. And she stayed. She finished up some school stuff and then went back to go live with her at her dad's house or something. And I moved back in. And at that time, I needed something new in my life because I was just so dead on everything.
What were you doing for work at the time?
At that time, I had just quit my day, like my normal corporate day job of being a teleconference operator.
Yeah.
And now we have Zoom and it's like, do it all yourself.
Yeah.
Back in those days, you actually had to have help to get more than like 3 people on the phone line.
Yeah.
So I was working that job and that business is now defunct. And I started working for my dad. I was my dad's only employee as a salesman / service guy. Okay. And unfortunately, these machines that we were buying, they'd plug in 110. It was basically an industrial dishwasher, but for car parts.
Oh.
So it worked out really well because then the mechanics, and this is so funny because this is such a lifetime ago. This is 20 years ago. Mechanics used to take car parts off of cars, wash them, fix them, and then put those parts back on. Yeah. They don't do that anymore.
No,
now they just take it and they throw that away or into the recycling or something, and they put on a brand new part because the part is cheaper from China than it is the labor here in America to actually just fix it and everything. So that business is now defunct as well.
Yeah, you're like, I got to get in something that's going to last. Hot sauce.
And hot sauce was straight up just a hobby for a long time. It was me making hot sauce, my friends enjoying it. I sold my very first bottle when I was $3 short to go play the par 3 over at Foothills.
Oh, you're like, I just need $3.
And I'm like, but dude, I got to charge you $4. And he's like, I thought you said you were $3 short. And I'm like, I am. But the first dollar that hits my hand, I have to save because of the whole Scrooge McDuck thing in his first time.
Gotcha.
So I had to hold on to that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
So I started making hot sauce. I started selling hot sauce. It was never really a thing. And then my mom was actually on council at our church, and I was saying like, it was Davy's Chuck Wagon Diner on Colfax that said, Danny, you got to get legit. You got to start making this. We want to start selling this and buying it from you, selling it to our customers. And
were you just giving it to them? Was there someone there that had tasted it?
Yeah, it was actually really cool because my dad and I, working the parts washer business, we were 500 feet away from Davy's Chuck Wagon Diner on Colfax. That's where he rented out a little office with a warehouse and stuff. So we'd eat there like twice a week and just talk about like, okay, what's this day going to look like? What's tomorrow going to look like?
Are you bringing your own sauces in with you to put on their food?
Definitely. Yeah, bringing my own hot sauce, which is a pretty common occurrence these days. Like a lot of people who are really into hot sauce, they'll actually bring their own because most of the time the restaurants
Beyonce has hot sauce in her bag.
So good. It's not my hot sauce though. She should have my hot sauce.
Hey, I'll see if I can make that happen.
I've been meaning to text her lately.
Yeah. I'll have my wife get on it. Big fans.
Cool.
All right. We'll see if we can work that out for you.
Yeah. So at Davy's, they were actually setting aside all of their used Tabasco and Cholula bottles. And I would pick them up, like, whenever they had more than a case or something like that. And then I would take them home and wash them out and scrape off the labels and fill it up with my hot sauce, then give them a couple of bottles. And then I would do my thing and stuff. And it just, it was crazy. So I talked to my mom and she said, why don't you present it to the church? And by this time, everybody at the church had already actually like tasted the sauces and stuff. And
they knew it was legit.
And they're like, this is a pretty neat little hobby.
So what were you presenting?
I put on a tie.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I had like...
So you just presented your business plan.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I wrote a business plan. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this is right when Google started. So I had to actually figure out what a business plan was. I never took one business class in high school or in college or anything like that.
Me neither.
It was not on my radar.
You either have it or you don't.
So I came up with this business plan. It was how to make a Honda Civic car payment every other month based on the profits of making and selling hot sauce. And it worked. Okay. So the business plan worked very quickly. And when they actually said like, hey, great job, Danny, that was awesome. We were going to say yes, but thank you for putting on a tie.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, like they put me through the ringer on that one. It was pretty funny. They had a couple of good questions and everything. And they were all based around like, how do you make hot sauce without making pepper spray? in a church environment, and it's like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn on all the hoods. We're going to open up windows that are really, really far away, so it creates a draft through the church, exiting the kitchen.
Okay.
And it worked out very well. There were a couple of things that we did not know, and we ignorantly screwed up and burned some of the seniors that were attending the church.
Oh, no.
One of them really liked it. So we cleared out everything out of the reach-in cooler because we thought that we had to cook the hot sauce and then cool it and then bottle it. Like, there was nothing on Google. There was nothing on MySpace at that point.
That's just what had worked for you in your
Exactly.
apartment.
Yeah, so we were just all figuring it out as we went and everything. And we didn't have any mentors or anything like that. We didn't know anybody else that was making hot sauce.
Okay.
It
You're
was
just
like
trial and
one
error.
company in Denver.
Just trial and error. That's it.
So we were just making hot sauce. So just as if somebody was making cookies or something like that.
Yeah.
So we took the hot sauce
Just
off
happen to
of the
burn
stove.
your eyes if you're not wearing.
Oh man, it was so bad. It was so bad.
The cookies don't really burn your eyes, but
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, we were wearing swim goggles on several days because the steam was so bad and everything. But we took it off the stove. We put it into the reach-in. The only thing that we didn't pull out of the reach-in was a couple of pitchers of water.
okay.
And it's like, those are saved from Wednesday. Who wants to dump them out and refill them with fresh water for Sunday? I have no idea what they were thinking. We didn't think anything of it. And then Sunday morning, a bunch of the elders were complaining about, why is my mouth on fire?
You had cooked the water.
Yes.
Was it
the steam?
same water, or did it just get in the jugs?
No, it was the pitchers of water that the water absorbed the steam.
Wow.
And turned it spicy.
That's crazy.
And it's like, I don't know, maybe that's $1 billion industry. I have no clue. But
I haven't figured out how to utilize that yet.
yeah, we never really went in that direction. But working out of the church kitchen was great. We had enough room. We'd actually have to take our 600-pound kettle, giant stainless steel kettle with a big draw-off valve and this huge lid and everything.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like a dunk tank about that size. Yeah. And we would have to wheel it through the boat.
It's huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You think about a 50-gallon
heavy.
drum, it's 12 of those.
Yeah, it was massive. It was in actual size, like a 55-gallon drum. If this was probably about 3 times the size of a 55-gallon drum.
Okay.
Because it was 600 pounds. It wasn't 600 gallons.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, but we had to wheel it on 3 legs through a broken parking lot.
Okay.
And it was a horrible experience. We had to fix a lot of drywall, just getting it in and out the doorway and everything. So
when did you outgrow the church space?
quickly after we started in the church space, we were there for about, I want to say about 9 months.
Okay.
Before
were you guys white labeling from the beginning?
It's kind of funny because as we started to grow and everything, it was our 3rd customer who said, Danny, I absolutely love your sauce. I don't like your label though, which is actually pretty close to what we're at right now with our label. It had a picture of me with my mohawk up and everything. Yeah. And, she just didn't like that. Sure. And she ran a yoga studio / breakfast joint. Okay. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, why don't we just put your logo on it? And I have never even heard of private label at that point in my life. I had no idea. We don't do white label, just for the record and stuff, because white label is when you actually remove the manufacturer's name completely.
Gotcha.
And we don't do that because it's food, and also because it leads everybody back to the source. So that's a good thing for us.
You want it to point back to you.
Yeah. And Tammy, who's a realtor who takes private label, and it's our sauce with her label on it, she doesn't want the FDA calling her.
Yeah.
She wants the FDA calling us if there's any questions.
That's cool. Thanks for explaining the difference. I didn't realize the difference.
Yeah. So this little yoga studio breakfast joint and everything, I got their logo, and I would go to Kinko's and I would print off the labels and I'd cut them out and I would attach them with 3-inch wide packing tape to the bottles, and I would just roll it on. Yeah. And that was the start of the business. So within 8 or 9 months, I needed my brother's help. He was actually designing the website. and that was kind of like his business. Like I was going to have the total business and then he was going to have the website sales. It was going to be like an exclusive deal. But then I just said, dude, I am going out of my mind. I am so busy right now. I need help. I need a lot of help. So we actually went 50-50 partners, which was not a great idea because he had a very good paying job and I did not. I only had the hot sauce at that point. And then I actually continued on with the failing parts washer business.
Okay.
After my dad was like, I need to go get a real job. Here's the business, go for it. And I was just servicing the machines. So that would actually like help me pay rent and everything. But we actually built out our own place off of South Zuni and Hampton. And that was in like 2003, 2004 when we did that. It was pretty quick from
very early on
the first bottle to then moving into the church and then actually like renting out a place for $850 a month. I mean, that was huge.
That's a lot.
That was a lot of money back then, especially for a little hobby business where it's just like, let's turn this into something.
And there's probably not huge margins in hot sauce, I imagine.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's a heck of a lot of work. And if you're making the bottle of hot sauce for $1 and then you're selling it for $3, you really got to go for the volume.
You got to be moving some hot sauce.
Yeah,
you got to be moving bottles.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of hot sauces these days, they're sold for in between $8 and $20 a bottle.
Wow.
Even if you actually just go to like a farmer's market or something, it's just
because they're making such small quantities of it.
Yeah, it's because people have big egos. It's like you can make absolute hooch, like terrible wine, but if you have a big ego, people will buy it for $50 a bottle.
Yeah.
And then they just won't buy it again. It's kind of like
try it once, you get one time. But you're looking for repeat clients. We
always want them to come back. Yeah. And we do so much wholesale when a lot of other companies are just focusing on retail that our wholesale, all of our prices have to match up. So like we have 3 different price breaks and stuff. We have the retail, we have wholesale, and then we also have like distributor pricing and everything. So, and it all depends on, are you buying 1 bottle? Are you buying 48 bottles?
Yeah.
Or are you buying 1,200 or 6,000 bottles at a time?
Do you have a minimum order? Is it 1?
You know, if it's retail, it's 1.
Yeah.
So, but if it's wholesale or if you want to do custom label.
Yeah. If I wanted a custom label, what's the minimal order?
Yeah. You can actually go onto brandedsauces.com and you can get 1 bottle custom label.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. It costs you $15.
Okay.
When that same bottle is going to cost you $8 with our label on it. But there's a lot of work that goes into the custom.
That still seems really cheap. I mean,
it's really cool if you're saying like, hey, happy birthday, Joe, and I got you this bottle of hot sauce.
Put Joe's face on it.
Yeah, you could totally do that. You could also just go to like, the dollar store and off your home printer, print off a label and slap it on that too. Yeah. But like we offer that. For wholesale, we do small orders of 48 bottles at a time.
Okay.
So like most of the restaurants here around town, they'll actually take 48 bottles with their custom label on it. They're getting a wholesale order and it's not them taking a pallet of sauce.
Yeah.
It honestly is, it comes in 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Boxes of 24.
On the shelf in the pantry area.
It weighs 22 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's great. And then they'll actually use it on their tables. They'll give it to their friends. They'll sell it to their customers and stuff.
Cool.
We got a lot of people around this time of year that actually just get it for their family.
Yeah, I can see that. I actually was thinking that. I was like, I might just get it with my face on it and pass it out to my friends and family.
And we do a lot of goofy labels and we do a lot of serious labels. And
do you have like an in-house graphic designer who's cranking that out?
Yeah, he is so busy now. It's so awesome. I love it. And we actually, so this website that we've been in for the last like 4 months and stuff, we're trying to make it a lot like Vistaprint to where you can actually just go onto it and you can download the templates, you can design your own, you can send it in.
Okay.
If you want him to do anything, it's like $50.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are just like, well, here's a little drawing that my kid made on a napkin. Here's a picture of that. Can you put that on?
He's got to digitize it, turn it into a vector. And get
if they actually just take a picture of it with their phone,
you can do that.
Then they send it to us, and it's like, okay, I've seen worse. I've been sent crumpled business cards. I've been sent matchbooks, and I literally have been sent a napkin before by a customer, like a restaurant customer, and they're like, "This is the only copy of what we have. Can you mail it back to us?"
Oh my god.
And it's like, I'll stick it in the box with the hot sauce.
Yeah.
Once we get everything done.
We'll shove it in there if I can remember. That would. Anytime people ask for like custom things like that, I'm like, I will try to remember to do that.
Oh yeah, totally. And
So
it's like, don't
often-
blow your nose on
you have
that.
systems, and if it's outside of the system, ooh.
Yeah.
What is your best seller right now?
The garlic serrano hot sauce is one of our best sellers. That was actually my very first sauce 21 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
And we really haven't changed the basic flavor profile. We've changed how we make it, but the flavor is still exactly the same as it was.
And why do you think it's the best seller? Because you perfected it?
Man, I think it's just because it tastes like Colorado. Like being from Chicago or being from Texas, people come here and it's like, okay, well, a Colorado sauce has to be green. It can't be red. This is not Louisiana.
True.
It's got to be green. And it has to, I don't know, it just, for me, it just tastes like the way that this state should taste. It's like green chili and tamales and like put it all together and everything. And you need the sauce for those foods.
Okay.
And this sauce is great. I mean, it's just it's a quick Serrano lime bite right off the bat. And then you get a wave of garlic, especially when you exhale through your nose.
My mouth is watering.
And then you get like a subtle backburn from the red habaneros in your throat. And you're just like, dang. That's
good.
nice.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, and it's extremely versatile. That's what we really go for.
What do you
with
like?
all of
What
our
can you put it
sauces.
on?
Oh my gosh! So on the label, I actually put it on. I put it on pizza and I put it on eggs.
Okay.
If you actually are one of the minority that actually makes breakfast pizza, which my mom started doing in like 1990, breakfast pizza is amazing.
I don't even know what breakfast pizza
Oh
is.
my gosh, you just get a pizza crust and you throw on a bunch of like cooked Italian breakfast sausage and stuff, and then cheese, and then you pour eggs over the top of it and throw it back into the oven. So it's breakfast pizza. It's delicious.
Okay, I might have to try that. My kids might eat that.
And then you just cover it in hot sauce. It's delicious.
Okay.
Well, there's breakfast tacos now.
yeah.
So yeah, that's not too far of a stretch. Breakfast pizza.
But you
It's
cook
delicious.
the eggs on the crust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You get everything going and
Scramble the eggs and just pour it in the middle on top.
stuff. You don't even have to scramble it. Like you want to actually pour the liquid uncooked eggs onto it. And then it cooks it all together. So then everything is like held together when you cut it and eat it as pizza.
All right.
Just think of
Might
the
have to try
eggs
that.
as the pizza sauce.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I might have to try that.
So it's amazing.
Say that again. Garlic habanero.
The garlic serrano.
Serrano.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does have habanero in it, but it is our garlic serrano sauce to separate itself from all of the other habanero things that we do.
Yeah. And then the question you probably get all the time is, what's the hottest one?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. There's also a lot of people who come into our retail store and they're like, have you heard of Dave's Insanity? Or have you ever heard of the show Hot Ones and stuff? And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, maybe once or twice.
How about you just taste this? So the hottest sauce that we make currently, I mean, we have hotter products in the store. We don't call them sauces because they're more like extreme dare challenges.
Gotcha,
and like one drop at a time extracts and stuff.
You're like, you don't really want to like pour this on your eggs.
No, it's not something that you would shake or pour.
Okay.
With those guys. We actually put them into eyedropper bottles.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The hottest production sauce that we actually do is our Scorpion Reaper sauce. And it's really good. I do not eat it on the regular.
Where does that fall on the scale for people who care about that?
Oh man, there's a lot of people who reference the Scoville scale, which we don't put any faith into because it was designed by a dude named Wilbur Scoville in like 1906.
Okay.
And he tested a bunch of white people to find out if things were spicy.
Gotcha.
And I just find that it's a horrible, horrible scale to use. And people are like, oh my gosh, this one is like 19 million Scoville. And it's like, that's impossible.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
That's like as far as I know, the hottest thing that you can get like in the natural known universe is like the sun. And they just said that is a hot sauce hotter than the sun. And it's like, people don't even know how to really use that scale. It's kind of like walking into a room and guessing the BTU. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It's like that doesn't make sense in so many different ways. So we do an actual, like a normal people heat scale. And all of our sauces go through different numbers based on a 0 to 10 scale. And this particular sauce is a 27 out of 10 because it is well beyond what the average person wants to eat.
Okay.
The garlic serrano is a 7 out of 10.
Okay. So a 10 is just like
Yeah.
a very spicy but edible sauce.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more than edible. It's eatable. People will want to eat it time and time again.
Okay.
So a 10 out of 10 is a sauce that we recommend up to for restaurants to put on their tables. We do not recommend to our restaurant customers the 15 out of 10, the 17 out of 10, or the 27 out of 10. And it's crazy because 15, 17, and then 27, there is that big of a jump in heat from one to the next because it's kind of like how many drops do you want to put on a piece of pizza?
Yeah.
the fewer the drops, the higher the heat. So, and it's just something that I choose to kind of stay away from. But we have customers that come into the retail store and they love that sauce. They want to know if there's bigger than 5-ounce bottles. So we started doing 12-ounce bottles of all of our sauces.
Well, I saw something bigger than that. On the website.
Yeah. We do offer, in some of the sauces, we offer 25-ounce bottles, but in all of our sauces
Bigger.
for refills, we go gallon jugs.
That's crazy.
And we have sold 55-gallon drums of hot sauce before, but not of that sauce.
Sure. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. No, I saw the gallon ones on there and I was like, man, that's crazy. You gotta, I guess people are refilling their own jars. Is that the idea?
Yeah. And the cool thing is our sauce does not require any kind of refrigeration. So you can actually open it, you can pour it into one of the small bottles and you can just throw it in the pantry.
Is that intentional?
Yes, that's very intentional just because we have so many restaurant customers, but also Colorado is so active and everything. Like
true, yeah.
in our high altitude gourmet brand, it shows two people at the top of a mountain, like celebrating victory for climbing it with their dog.
Yeah.
And
You can't have
It's-
you got
it's
to bring a cooler up there.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
Right, yeah.
So we actually made our sauces to where they do not require refrigeration after opening, which is so cool because it doesn't take up fridge space. A lot of my friends, whether they're male or female, say that their spouse is telling them to either get a different refrigerator to put all of their sauces in or just start throwing them away. And it's like, no, you don't have to throw away ours. You can throw away that one. That one requires refrigeration, but ours doesn't.
Okay.
So we want people to bring them to the beach. We want them to take them to different sporting events. Everything that we make is in a plastic bottle. So it's awesome.
Keep it with you.
So yeah, the bottles bounce and the sauce doesn't go bad after you open it. You do not need to refrigerate them.
That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So you guys have a ton of flavors. I was like looking on your website. I mean, they all sound delicious. What is the process of adding a new flavor from like getting it on the website? You know, how does it end up on the website from initiating the new flavor?
It's got to go through a couple of different tests first. It has to make sense. And it has to have an audience already.
Okay.
So like if somebody comes in and they say, I want a peanut butter and jelly hot sauce, which actually does exist. I haven't tried it yet. But if they say that, it's kind of like, okay, well, how many do you want to buy? And if they say like, I want you to make it and I will buy a bottle. It's like, no, you can just make this at your house. Sure. So it really is like, you know, when there's a new pepper out there and if we can get a hold of it and stuff, we know that people are going to like the hardcore elite hot sauce eaters are going to want to try.
There's new peppers.
Oh yeah.
I guess so
peppers.
Like genetically creating new peppers.
Yeah. It's like the Carolina Reaper came out like 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
And then the same guy had like hotter peppers after that, but he didn't stop making money off of the first one. So why would he release the next ones?
Yeah.
And now he just came out with other ones.
Gotcha.
And it's like, okay. Even if it is hotter and stuff, I get it. I mean, this is a business for him and everything. But to me, all of that stuff is just world's biggest pumpkin. It's just like, that's a great pumpkin, man. That's big.
Yeah.
Like if you need an F-250 to carry a pumpkin around, that is impressive.
Yeah.
But if you cannot
not for the masses,
sell it,
though.
yeah. I mean, if my company cannot order 2,000 pounds of it at a time monthly, then what's the point? That pepper doesn't even exist to me. If only one guy is using it, or like two companies are actually bottling it and stuff, there's a lot of shade or shadiness or whatever. I don't know what the kids are talking about these days.
Sus, I think is the word.
Oh, sus.
The suspect is sus.
Okay, all right.
I think.
I'm glad you know that.
I don't quote you on that.
But so then it has to go through like, okay, if we make it, we're going to put it into the retail store. And we're going to see how people gauge it from there.
Okay.
We're going to get a lot of in-person contact with it and a lot of reviews directly off of it and stuff. Because if everybody is saying, man, that is one bitter sauce, and it might just be from like the chili peppers or from something else. We want to fix that. We want everybody to absolutely love everything. I mean, we are firm believers that we make the world's best sauces, and you can customize the label. So it's a total win-win for everybody. Yeah. So, but then it's like, okay, well, now we just sold like 8,000 of those last month. So let's go ahead and put it up on the website.
Yeah.
So it has to go through the typical steps.
And how long does it take to get the ingredients and get everything, like figure out what the recipe is?
It usually happens very quickly.
Really?
I mean, it's like a 5-minute process
okay.
for me. Yeah. I'll actually wake up in the middle of the night and I'll write down some sort of a recipe and stuff.
You just done this so much.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. It was like when I first got out of the kitchen day by day and I had a crew that I could trust and they were making the sauces and stuff, it started then, and that was about 5 or 6 years.
Just because it freed you up to think about that a little bit more?
Yeah, kind of. It was like, oh, we need a tropical salsa because that's a cool thing. So it's like, okay, I just wrote down a recipe and I'm like, hey, throw this into the kettle. Give me a taste. And they're like, what the heck is this? And I'm like, just trust me, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this is amazing. And
do you
just
tweak it a little bit?
Yeah,
a couple times usually. And then
like knowing the size of the recipe and stuff, I typically exaggerate any tweak just because I don't want to go like low and slow. Okay. I want to see like, I am definitely at fault
the flavor
of saying,
to really hit.
Like, don't add 1 pound, add 10 pounds and let's see what it does. Okay. Because we really want to exaggerate it. Like a lot of people, they're like, oh, can you make it with this? It has subtle hints. Like when we do a custom beer sauce for a brewery, it has subtle hints of walnuts and poppy seed or something, something like that. Right. And I'm just like, yeah, there's no subtle hints in hot sauce, pal.
Yeah.
Like you have to go big or go home because nothing subtle comes across when you have such big flavors already.
And you're putting it on something that already has a lot of flavor. Probably.
Exactly. So. Yeah. So if it's subtle in this, it has to be exaggerated in this. So we do, I live a cartoon life.
That's a good way to put it. That's funny. That's awesome. And then, so you mentioned something about, you're talking about the refrigeration. Is there a lot of regulation on what you guys like from the FDA? Do you guys have to follow a ton of regulation? Is that hard?
Yeah, definitely. So you have to actually you have to fill out all the forms. You have to work with the FDA. And before they give you clearance on anything, you have to have a third party process authority to actually go through the steps with you and approve your process.
Wow.
So
is that for every new recipe that you're releasing?
Every single new recipe. Wow. Yeah. Now there are ways around it in the case of, if I write a recipe that says like 70% vinegar, or let's go to 70% chili peppers and then 28% vinegar and 2% salt. Right. Then I can switch out whatever chili peppers that I use in that recipe.
Okay.
I can't switch out like the different kind of salt. I mean, nobody's going to use kosher salt when it just dissolves immediately. But I can switch out the different chili peppers in that. So you can write a generic recipe, like a cookie recipe, and just kind of go from there.
Gotcha. Okay. Are they coming in to check your facility pretty regularly and make sure everything's up to speed?
Yeah. So they actually, that's always a fun day whenever they stop by.
How often is that?
It's about twice a year that they actually swing in and they're just like, hey, just want to make sure nothing has changed. And they always ask okay, where's your file of complaints? And it's just like, well, this guy didn't think it was spicy enough.
Is that what you mean?
That's about it, dude.
Yeah, some weird Yelp reviews. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we checked Yelp and you have 7 reviews and one guy didn't like it. And I'm like, read the review. He didn't like that we weren't open on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it is kind of funny. Like working with the FDA is, it's actually really nice now. They used to just be like police. And now they're actually there to help you. So I tell people that are just starting and I'm like, well, where are you guys making it? And like if I see somebody at a farmer's market and they're like, oh, we're making it at home. And I'm like, that's completely illegal. And they're like, no, food cottage. And I'm like, did you read page 1? You cannot make anything wet at underneath Colorado Food Cottage laws and act and everything like that. And it straight up says you cannot make sauces. And they're just like, well, we didn't see that. And I'm like, well, Google it and check it out, man. It's on page 1. So like I'm trying to help a lot of people get into business and stuff, because the whole rising tide, like if they have a whole bunch of friends that they're introducing hot sauce in general to, then they will eventually.
And people aren't buying 2, 3 people into hot sauce. They're not buying 2, 3, 4 hot sauces. They're buying dozens of hot sauces.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
I don't know.
Yours will definitely be one on the shelf.
Anymore.
Right. Yours will definitely be one on their shelves.
Yeah, it works out really well, because they will find out. I mean, they'll just start searching like local hot sauce. And we've been the biggest hot sauce in the state of Colorado since 2003. Since we were still working out of our church kitchen, actually.
Oh wow,
which is
really?
nuts. Before we even
You were
moved into our
technically
own
the
place.
largest sauce maker. Okay, that's cool. Even at the church, that's fun.
So, yep.
I also noticed on your website that you do a lot with the military.
We do.
Is there a backstory to that?
I wanted to be military. That was kind of like my childhood dream. And I actually went and I took the tests for the Army. And the guy actually brought me into another room, and he was saying that, like, you know, I wanted to separate you from your 2 buddies and stuff, because they have about the same options list, and you just scored differently, and you have many other options that you can kind of choose from. And I said, I want to be a pilot. And then he's like, you can't, you wear glasses. And at that time, that was a thing. So I could get into helicopters. I could get into being a mechanic on a helicopter and stuff. And I stayed for a girl. And I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have. I absolutely should have signed the papers and gone with my life goal at that point. I was 17 years old. I would have left like 3 days after turning 18, but I didn't. And we have a lot of military in our family, and we have a lot of military connected to the families of my whole crew that works for me right now. So when we said, okay, we're going to start donating based off of the profits and stuff, we actually did like raise our prices by $2 to become more like relevant with other hot sauce companies' pricing. And then we actually turned those profits into what we're actually donating to the military, to A+ rated military charities.
Gotcha. Okay, you're not donating it to the military.
We're not like writing a check to the Army.
Pentagon.
So they have
to the
enough
order
of,
of Pentagon. Yeah.
So we're working with.
So what are some of the
VFWs.
charities doing that you like to support?
So we actually started with I think it was Freedom Service Dogs, and we love what they're doing. My parents actually housed a couple of dogs for them in the years past. And then we work with a lot of VFWs. Okay. We work with American Military Family, who actually goes and literally like black bags and captures at-risk veterans. I mean, they're literally saving lives. Yeah. Because if somebody says, "Hey, I got a veteran buddy, and he's looking to pull that final trigger," they will literally go grab him and drag him out of his house. Yeah. And kind of do like a drop squad type.
That's such a huge issue now, unfortunately.
It is. It's 22. It might even be up to 23 veterans a day that just say, "I'm done." And it's so sad. So
that's awesome that you guys support that. I mean, a lot of businesses don't do that. So
it's. I think if it hurts us when we hear the story, then we're actually like really, really looking forward to working with them to help them further their cause. We work with Freedom Hunters, who actually like gets a hold of veterans who are yet again at risk and just not feeling the camaraderie. So it's like, hey, let's get together. Let's go on a hunt trip. Let's go into Canada. Let's go shoot a bear or something like that. Cool. Or let's go to Alaska to go fishing and stuff. So that's a really cool organization. We've worked with probably 6 or 7. Honor Bell is another organization that actually pays for funerals. And it's just like, this is why it's so hard to talk about and everything, because they're doing the Lord's work and we are just trying to help them accomplish that as much as possible and stuff. So that's why we actually have the military sauces on the website. If you buy the Danny Cash brand, it's 15% that goes towards military charities. If you buy the military branded labels, it's 50%, 50%. Wow. And that's of the total sales. That is not of calculated profits. That's not a portion of our proceeds.
Yeah.
Like what a lot of other companies say. Like we are out there, we are out front saying, you spend $10, $1.50 or $5 goes towards military charities.
That's amazing.
So
good for you guys. Actually,
it's honestly the least that we can do.
That's a lot though. Cool. So tell me a little bit about the future, Danny Cash branded sauces. Mm-hmm. What's in the works for you guys? What are you looking forward to? What are you trying to do in the next year, 2, 3 years?
You know, we have totally outgrown our space. It's a small space. It's in River Point right now. And everybody who's actually like driving past us, they're just trying to get from the light to Starbucks or the light to Target or Costco or something like that. And not everybody sees what's been there for 5 years. And the retail store is good, but honestly, we don't need retail space. In our previous endeavors and facilities and everything, we just had like a little area up front of a big warehouse.
Yeah.
We would make everything and ship it all over the world and everything, pallets going to Hong Kong.
If someone in Colorado wanted to swing by, see the facility, buy some.
We'll have a little showroom and stuff, and they can kind of like look through the windows and see what we're doing and everything. But like we don't need the big retail parking lot or the fancy front entrance or anything like that. Like Bristlecone is a gorgeous gun shop in Lakewood. Yeah. I love that place. That is a really nice building. We don't need a nice building. We can go more of the route that like a microbrew can go to where it's just like, you are literally drinking beer in a warehouse at like a table that they just picked up from Sam's Club or Goodwill. So, and people don't really expect any more out of us. I mean, they're coming in, they're grabbing hot sauce. It's a fun experience. Yeah. It's like you are visiting the factory, and that works for us. That works really well. So like we will be upgrading to over 10,000 square feet very soon. Wow. And that's a lot of hot sauce that we can make in 10,000 square feet. I mean, we are banging it out every single day. I got 5 guys in the kitchen that are just cranking caps onto bottles and everything. So, and I have another 5 guys that are working on labeling and making packets for restaurants and sending them out and shipping them all out and everything. So and then cool. I'm on the sales team, sales and marketing.
Is that what you spend most of your time doing?
Yeah. Basically, like it. I like sales. I like telling the story. I like people having like some sort of stake in it, like when they kind of know what's going on and like where it came from and stuff. It gives you that personal connection and everything. Absolutely. So it's fun.
Anytime you get a personal connection with food or drink, you know what I mean, or anything like that, I feel like people are just going to be more drawn to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Awesome, man. Well, where can people find you? Where can they get your sauces? You want to tell them the address again? Is it better to order online? I mean,
I would say if you're outside of a half an hour or 45-minute drive, then definitely order online. We have 99% of our products that are in the store that you can order on the website, and you can just kind of see everything that we do. Now, if you have the ability to come into our retail shop at River Point, our address is 3545 South Platte River Drive. You can Google it. You don't have to remember that. You don't have to write it down. You can just bring it up on Google Maps or Apple Maps. We're on there. It gives you the hours. And it works out really well.
It's a nice little storefront.
Yeah, it's cool. It's, we have 7,000 square feet right now, and it's like a 300 square foot store, which is a lot of hot sauce. It really is a lot for just hot sauce. But the main thing of coming in is being able to talk to us, being able to, we have a full tasting bar. So we want you to taste everything that you are willing to try.
Okay.
We won't start you off with the hottest thing in the store. If you're one of those guys who wants to come in and just say, light me up, give me the hottest thing. And it's like, no, I'm going to start you off with this garlic serrano. It's delicious. And then kind of go from there. But we do have that extra 1% that's not on the website. We have in-store exclusives that are fun and weird. And it's a good time to see them in person, to be like, okay, you only made 17 bottles of this. I'm picking up one of these. I gotta have one. So yeah.
Awesome. Speaking of tasting, which one should we go for here?
Oh man. I would just go straight to the garlic serrano just because we've been talking about it so much.
Let's do it.
So the garlic serrano has probably the most private labels on on the actual on that sauce. And this
Frosty's
is
demise. That's great.
So yeah, Frosty's demise, and we actually rewrote the Christmas Carol on the side of the bottle. It's pretty fun.
7 out of 10. There's your scale.
Yep. We have a thermometer
graphically, how do you show 27 out of 10?
It
just
breaks
goes
the thermometer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, and they usually say like for normal people, like 27 out of 10 for normal people.
I need to shake it a little.
Oh yeah, give it a good
Give it a
shake.
good
Always
shake.
shake a hot sauce. It's just
right.
like, you never want mustard water or ketchup water.
Ew, that's the worst.
That's just nasty.
Ketchup's the worst. I feel like they solved that a lot with the you probably could.
Oh, the upside down flip and everything.
Yeah, with the new bottle designs, but it's you still get a little ketchup water on you.
Yeah, nobody wants that. That's gross.
I love this. The holiday pack. Is this on the website as well?
So yeah, the holiday heat gift packs are on the website. We have 2 versions. We have the nice pack and the naughty pack. And you can tell by the actual characters, because on the nice pack, we have Frosty, Santa, and Rudolph. And then on the naughty pack, we have Krampus, Cringe. It's not the Grinch. We're not getting sued there.
Yeah, good idea.
Cringe, and then also Scrooge and everything.
Cool.
So what we do is we actually take the bottle and we just drop a little dot right there on your hand. Don't put it on your fingertip. It'll get all over your pants. But do it right there on your hand.
Okay.
And give it a lick.
All right. Let me shake it up a little.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. Just a drop, and
I know I've said this, but I'll say it again. You're going to get a quick Serrano lime bite, the exhale, the wave of garlic through the nose, and a red habanero backburn tingle in the throat.
that was good. That's about as much spice as I want.
Okay, you're a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
That's no
7
problem.
out of 10. That's the top of my chart. That's good. A lot of flavor though. So much flavor. Delicious.
Yeah, we really focus on pure flavor. Heat is just a byproduct, but it has to be extremely versatile.
Okay.
We don't have any sauces that you can only put on one thing. Like if we made a peanut butter and jelly hot sauce, I don't even know. Do you put that onto peanut butter and jelly, or do you put that onto just crackers and it tastes like peanut butter?
Toasted bread?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have a favorite? What is your favorite?
Oh man, I think that's like favorite
pick one.
song.
No, you got to pick one.
Of all time. Favorite
that you
favorite
make.
sauce of all time?
Yeah, that you make.
Oh man, I'd probably have to go
like
with
a
the
favorite
garlic
child.
Serrano. Yeah, exactly. Like favorite sauce of all time is the garlic Serrano. I mean,
It's the OG.
I've known it for 21 years, but like if you ask me what my favorite sauce of this week is right now, like I can't eat that sauce right now. I overdid it. So I
Need a little break?
I want to eat the coconut ghost chili hot sauce.
Okay, coconut ghost.
Yeah, it's most likely the sauce that
The
is
thing
gonna
that
be
caught
on
my eye, and I think I commented on this too when the first time we talked, was the mango habanero drink mix.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what is that mixed with? And you said cheap whiskey, and I was like,
yeah.
this is my kind of guy right here. That sounds delicious. I got to try that.
Yeah, that one is
I'm gonna
super
order me some
tasty.
of that.
It's good in bad beer. It's good mixed with,
bad beer.
whiskey. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like if somebody leaves like we'll just say Coors Light or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't drink Coors Light. I like beers.
You're
with
not
a lot of
offending me,
flavor.
so yeah.
Like if
There's a time and a place for a Coors Light, in my opinion, on a hot day, at the
when
ballpark or
nothing else
something.
is available. That's the time and place.
Well, the thing about the Coors is like you can just crush like 6 of them, and they're refreshing.
And then you're in a dangerous
That's true.
position.
That's true.
Now Coors Banquet, give me one all day.
Yeah, there you go.
delicious.
They are good.
But yeah, I mean, the mango mix, just like our Serrano lime drink mix and our Bloody Mary mixes, I mean, they go really well into beer.
That sounds good.
Which not a lot of people actually make a mixed drink using beer, but that's okay. Though.
What part to like?
However much you want in.
Okay, just test it out. Huh?
So like I typically grab like a pint glass and I pour a 12 ounce into it, and then I'll put in 3 or 4 ounces of the mix into it, whether that's the Bloody Mary mix or the spicy mango sweet and sour blend and stuff. But like, I mean, that stuff with coconut rum is outstanding. But seriously, in bad whiskey, like with bad whiskey, it's delicious, because don't mix good whiskey.
Yeah, no.
Don't do that.
The only thing that goes in good whiskey is like 1 ice cube, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's it. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you coming
man. It's
by.
fun.
And love learning about your business. So cool. So thanks for your time. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's good to be here.